Yeah.
You're watching Global News Morning on Global Kingston.
.51 on a gorgeous Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Global News Morning. I'm going to introduce you right now to Adele Spraggon, the author of a new book, 4 Steps to Personal Empowerment. It's not new, it's the 2nd edition. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Bill.
Everyone could use a little help in their lives. Everyone
Absolutely.
can. This book sort of details ways to overcome obstacles in one's life, and you've spoken to thousands. You are an in-demand guest speaker. What's the number one problem people have overcoming that obstacle of self-empowerment?
Yeah, so Bill, the easiest way to describe it is, you know how when we have a problem, we look outside of ourselves and we say, oh, the problem's in the situation. I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. Or we'll look at another person and we'll say, you know, it's my husband or it's my partner.
Or a work situation, it's everyone else's problem.
Or worse, we'll say it's my fault, I'm not good enough, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, none of that is the actual problem. What's happening, what neuroscience has now confirmed, is that we don't actually have free will and willpower. We don't have the ability to commit and to set our goals because there's something else in charge of our decision making. And that's our decision making patterns that live in our subconscious.
Well, I think Einstein once said, and you sort of paraphrase it applying to this book a little bit, and that is, do you find yourself repeating the same inhibiting patterns over and over again and yet don't know how to stop?
Yes, exactly.
He sort of said, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same result, and
Different
it doesn't
result.
happen, and that's sort of the definition of insanity.
Right. Yeah, I say it's not the definition of insanity, it's the definition of decision-making patterns. And they are consistently making those choices on your behalf.
What are some examples of bad decisions people would make?
Well, there's some great stories in the book. One story, Georgianne, she was addicted to sugar. And so she came to me to change her pattern for sugar. And one of the things that really stood out for her is every time she went to the grocery store, she would shop the candy aisle, and she had candy everywhere. And so we repatterned that pattern. So that's a pattern in her brain that was just a little bit wonky. So we just repatterned that. And the next time I called her, I said, so how's it going? And she had to pause and think for a minute. And she said, you know, Adele, she said, come to think of it, I had a bite of pie 2 days ago, but that's all I've had all week. And then with this delight in her voice, she went, oh my gosh, I went to the grocery store and I didn't go down the candy aisle. So anybody can use willpower to not go down the candy aisle, metaphorically, but it's really difficult to change our patterns. When you change your pattern, though, going down the candy aisle, not going down the candy aisle is easy.
There's a long history of, I'm not going to say self-help book, it's too easy to say, but a lot of books assist people in overcoming obstacles, but you have stated that the personal development industry has sort of gotten it wrong for years. Yes. What do you mean by that?
Yes, it's a little broken. The personal development industry is all about commitment, willpower, and changing your mindset in order to get to your goal. But the mind isn't actually in control, it's our subconscious that's in control. And so setting a choice and saying, I'm going to just go for that, goal setting, all of that stuff, it's highly ineffective. It's not working as well as it should work.
It sounds a lot easier said than done in some cases.
It's a 4-step technique. The technique itself is very simple. It's a 2-minute technique. It's done in the privacy of your own head, and it actually rewires your brain. It's the easiest way to describe it. No. If that sounds scary, it isn't.
Well, I'm wondering, does it work easier for young people whose maybe brains aren't as hardwired as maybe older people who are stuck in their ways?
You know, I haven't found that. I have people who I work with all the way up to 70, 75, and they still, as long as they apply the tool, it works. But simple is not easy, right? It takes something to change our mindset, change that way that we think about ourselves, and apply this tool differently.
How did you develop this? Was there a personal story with you?
Yes. Well, I've been studying the human mind for about 30 years now. My history...
And that's like a little tiny speck in the whole spectrum of the human mind, I think.
Exactly, exactly. My history is in meditation, so I'm a meditation facilitator. But I also had this terrible pattern of quitting, and I just kept quitting time after time after time. I quit 3 businesses prior to understanding what was going on. And by the time I quit the 3rd business, I'd done every personal development program I could think of to do, and nothing had worked. So I did a deep dive into my own mind, and I looked and I started to see, oh, hang on a minute. my actions are not being determined by my thoughts. My actions are being determined subconsciously. My decision to quit was actually occurring before I knew I was going to quit.
Maybe that little voice inside people's heads you should question.
I think we should. I do question it all the time. Yes, yeah. And then, so I did another deep dive, and I determined, okay, I got to rechange this pattern. I've got to rewire the brain so that that doesn't happen.
We're just touching the tip of the iceberg here, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So much more to talk about. We have to wrap this up, but adelespraggon.com for more information and more information on this book. Once again, Shift, 4 Steps to Personal Empowerment. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Stay with us. Global News Morning continues. We'll see you at the end of this commercial break.